continue with that. I'm Jay Owens, city engineer, and this is not Terry Ward here. This is Mark Anderson, our new project manager from MnDOT for the Red Wing Bridge project. And Terry has taken a leave here from MnDOT, and Mark has now been assigned the project. And Mark has quite a background. He's kind of followed Terry around. You were at the Dresbach Bridge project, and then up in Winona, and maybe you're still on the Winona project?
Still Winona.
Still on Winona. So Mark has good project management with bridge projects, so we're excited to have him on board. I think it's been about 2.5 weeks he's been here, so he's gonna give this a whirl and kind of try to help us out with our PR campaign as well, and help me go out and speak with organizations around town and keep people updated on the bridge project. So with that, I'll turn it over to Mark to kind of give an update on where we're at with things on the project.
Okay, Jay mentioned that Terry kind of ran through the safety issues that were on the project, and according to yesterday's weekly meeting, there haven't been any injury or accidents or anything like that. A couple of things that came up were parking within 30 feet of stop signs. You know, parking's kind of at a premium downtown, so they want to make sure workers stay out of the areas where they shouldn't park. And the safety manager said that all weekly safety reports were turned in. Monthly safety inspection forms are done for the month, and they do a daily barge inspection. So, and then they do safety training Monday on 7 a.m. or by appointment when it's necessary. So really, I guess I don't have anything else on safety. If there's any questions.
Well, speaking of that, the barge inspection, maybe give us an update on what's happening with the river piers with the water.
Okay, yeah,
levels and stuff. Yep.
They've managed to reconfigure their barge, so they are able to start drilling. They've drilled the second drilled shaft for Pier 2.
Which is the Wisconsin side pier.
Yep, kind of middle of the rivers, more
yep.
or less. And they've got the casing seated now, so they plan to set the rebar cage for that this afternoon, and they plan to do a concrete pour tomorrow morning starting at 8 o'clock. So that's moving forward, so hopefully that'll get the bridge moving. Anything else?
Beam setting, I suppose, on the Wisconsin side is an activity that we've seen here in the last week. So
right, they set 9 beams on the Wisconsin side, and you can see that they're starting to put their deck forms in place. So once they get all the beams set, they can do a concrete pour and pour the bridge deck up to, I believe it's Pier 3. So
a lot of work on the Minnesota side that I've been dealing with is the utility work. Storm sewer was heavy. The last few weeks, sewer and water are going to kick back in starting tomorrow. We're going to we got a valve going in near Anity's Closet, so we'll be shutting down the Potter Street 3rd Street intersection again to get that valve set. We put in a temp fire protection line for Red Wing Shoe because there'll be an extended outage while we're doing all of the water main work in the intersection there. And with that outage, we want to make sure their fire protection is in place even through that time. So lots of utility work kind of ongoing, along with the abutment walls for the bridge over 61. So there's different operations on the Minnesota side that are kind of keeping everyone busy. We've got a lot of work right around the Red Wing Shoe Plant 1 right now, both underground and pouring concrete and stuff for the bridges. So with that, I think, do you have any questions on kind of what we've been kind of working on or what we've got going on? Nancy?
Yeah, Jay, I'm kind of curious. I know they're pretty much done with the utility work there at Bluff Street and 4th, but when are they going to finish filling in the 2 holes right at the intersection? Because particularly the one, they've got rock kind of sitting in on the edge of the road, but it narrows that whole area, and when you have one car stopped and one trying to make that left on the 4th, it gets kind of tight, and I'm just wondering when that is going to be finished, filled in, so that it's kind of pushed back again until they pave.
Okay, I'll check in. So your Nancy's question is kind of finishing up at the intersection of 4th and Bluff, correct?
Correct.
Yeah, and I believe the final storm sewer was just done on that last week, and we should be able to get that kind of opened up a little bit better than it is. We'll still have, of course, we got to build road and everything, but at this point we could maybe fill some holes in to get it a little bit so it doesn't feel so tight for the traffic going through that intersection. So make a note of that.
Yeah, if it's the one I'm thinking of, it's where they've got some rock bermed around a
Okay.
catch basin.
Okay. Yep. We'll see what we can do to kind of
Yeah, I just wondered if there
get
was
it
a
opened up.
timeline on that.
Sure.
It does get kind of tight there when there's multiple cars.
Yeah, and part of it might be with the storm sewer SWIP where we're trying to keep that water on site and direct it into our catch basin without washing sediment out onto the existing roads, so.
Yep, I can check on that and I'll get back to Jay on it.
Yep, we'll check on that, so. Anything else from the campground that, there's a lot of work over there too. I say there's a lot of work around Red Wing Shoe, but the campground's got a little bit going on as well, so yeah. Well, good. Well, Mark, you want to share, maybe walk through some of the photos
Sure.
that you brought with for what's happened this past month?
So I believe this is the footing for one of the retaining walls. Looks like we're down there somewhere near the Red Wing shoe plant. I'm a little unfamiliar with the site yet. I'm trying. Some of these don't look real familiar.
This
to me.
isn't in Winona, is it?
No, or Dresbach. And I believe this is the abutment for the south abutment of the bridge over Highway 61. They're getting that set so they can get the rebar cage put in there and get that poured here shortly.
This work is exactly the reason why that 61 is one lane through there, because we're kind of working this bridge right now. So it's going to be extended for a while, correct, Mark? That it's going to be one lane in each direction?
Right, I believe
Yep.
so, yeah. And this is some storm sewer work. I believe this is 3rd Street, right, Jay?
Correct. Yep.
Okay, yep, I believe they're doing some storm sewer in there.
We brought up the temp water right there for the fire protection. Yep, right where your cursor is.
Okay, right in here.
Into Red Wing Shoe, yeah. That got turned on this morning, so we're ready to really hit the utility work again.
And I believe this must be a retaining wall adjacent to the south abutment over 61, because there's the temporary bridge over here. So I believe they're pouring this retaining wall right now.
That's for the retaining wall for the rest of the button hook to be finished off.
Okay. And kind of another picture of the same area, more of a total picture.
Interesting to note, those abutments are completely on spread footings, correct, Mark?
Yep.
There's no pile driven on the
Very unusual.
side.
Most bridges are built on piling,
Yep.
but I believe there's a lot of rock in this area.
A lot of rock, and of course, we didn't want the vibrations with Barn Bluff and the historic buildings in the area, so just hit quit there. Yeah,
Yep.
close that.
And this would be the backside showing the north abutment of the 61 bridge. And you can see the form liners they put in to give the abutment some detail, so it's not just plain concrete. And the contractor started backfilling behind the south abutment of the river bridge, so they bring in the sand in, so when they're ready to set beams, that abutment's all up to the proper height.
So that's right near ADM there, with the wall that's in their containment wall. You can kind of see from their tank farm right there off to the side.
Again, kind of the same picture, just from a different view. It must be up on the bridge here.
That would be the Minnesota abutment for the main crossing.
Yep.
I think, Patty, you went down there. We're in that area a while back, but kind of see you were standing down there. I think I saw a picture of you guys on that tour.
Yes.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yep.
Then there's some of the beams in Wisconsin. So far, I believe they've set 3 beams in each of the first 3 spans. So getting those set, and as I said before, they're getting the decking put in place for a concrete pour.
So that decking follows up fairly close to getting the beam set, huh? Getting
Yep.
Good.
Another picture, kind of the same area, just looking a little more towards the north.
Mark, where are those beams coming from again?
I believe they're made by County Material, and they're coming out of Janesville, Wisconsin.
Janesville, Wisconsin, okay.
And there's a picture from the barge. That's the drill rig. You can see the auger for drilling into the rock.
And there's 4 of those, is that correct?
There's
4
4 drilled
9-foot
shafts. 4 drilled shafts on the Pier 2. And there's a picture from the barge. That is the rebar cage that goes down into that drilled shaft. And a beam as it's being lifted to be put in place. I believe I've been told these are the longest pre-stressed beams that MnDOT has used. They're, I believe, 170 feet long,
Okay.
and they're 82 inches from top to bottom in depth there.
So Mark, are all the piers in the Wisconsin side are ready for beams to be placed on? They're all
Yes.
cured out and ready? Okay.
Yep, they are. Kind of the same picture as the iron workers are getting ready to set the beam on the bearings. And then I know there's some interest in the size of the vehicles, or the vehicle that actually brings the
Yeah.
beam to the site. You can see how long it is. So that's all the pictures I brought.
Okay. How about any other questions about anything that's happened this past month or what's coming up? I got a bit of a question, I guess, with the kind of wondering where we are schedule-wise as far as now that we're able to work back in the river again. I know there was talk we were getting real worried about getting the piers ready so we could get the main span put in place over the winter. What's schedule looking like overall for the bridge project now?
The latest schedule that Zenith Tech submitted is showing about 30 days, what we call negative flow, so they're roughly 30 days behind schedule. We're hoping they can pick that up now that they're able to get back on the river and get working. So
They have, with that, or what does it look like being on the Minnesota side, working, as far as on the Minnesota pier? Is that kind of coming up in the next couple months here that they'd be drilling shafts over here?
I would think they'd be over there
Okay.
middle to late August, I would think so.
Okay, good,
Yep.
good. So that's the thing, getting those piers out of the river so we can get that main span work going and keep everything on schedule. So, it's been, the utility work has been slow, I'll say that. That's what I've been involved with more than anything, and we're finding all kinds of stuff in the ground and just very slow going around Red Wing Shoe and on Bluff Street and 3rd Street, but we feel like we're kind of getting there now and want to get 3rd Street back put in place. It's been tore up quite some time there by Marie's and Canuts and Carmels and things, but that's starting, like I said, tomorrow with a valve replacement, and then we're going to continue with sewer and water from Potter to Plum Street. So get that done and try to get that road put back in place. So that's what I know on that side. Any other questions we got? Yes.
What kind of bridge work are they going to do over the winter?
Question is bridge work over the winter.
I guess I'm not sure. I would assume, I believe the setting of the steel beam or the steel tubs is over the winter when the river is shut down. But
They want to do that when there's the navigation, with the barge traffic is shut down. So that's the critical part of getting the piers ready now. So the winter work can be that setting of those big steel tubs that are the main span over the river. So. And we haven't, I think they were coming up with some possibilities where they could do some work even during navigation time if they didn't have to have a temporary pier in the middle. So we haven't seen that from Zenith Tech yet.
just some rumors so far that they're going to change their methods.
Yep. Any other questions? Anything else? All right, well, Mark, do you have anything to add or stay on?
Just kind of one thing that Eric had mentioned this morning is that in the future, once they get their drilled shafts done, you may see crews working on those piers, double shifting, basically 2 shifts, 12 hours a day each shift. So 6 days a week because they want to get those piers up and get them done. So you may see people out there all day and all night trying to get things caught up.
And we have had some nighttime work the last couple of weeks, and it's been where they're moving some of their forms and equipment across 61, so we've actually had to flag traffic, and they're doing that in the evening when the traffic's lower, where they've had to stop one direction, flag people around, and just make sure it's safe movement of large forms with crane work and stuff. So, and we may have more of that, and we'll make sure to get notice out that we're doing that nighttime work. Nancy, it's not the same noise level that you experienced when we had other nighttime construction. This is more just moving.
Didn't even hear them when they were moving equipment.
Good, you didn't hear them.
No.
All right, yeah, it's just, yep, good. All right, with that, I think we'll be on again next month. Thank you for coming.